Hey guys, how you doing today? I want to show you how I put my Amarillo to rest for the winter so that she can bloom in December or January. Now I am a little bit late um, this year because I have so much other stuff to do. You can see her big tall leaves, a lot of them are already starting to droop over. But I want to get down here so you guys can see what I'm doing. Um, what you want to do is, now I am a little bit late this year because I had so much stuff to do. I had a problem with whitefly in my garden this year, so I was doing a lot of extra steps that I don't usually do, but that's a whole other story. Okay, so what you want to do is, this is the middle of September already. Um, so stop watering your Amarillo. Uh, Amaryllis. Amarilla. I never say it right. I always say Amarillo, and I think it's Amarilla. But either way, you want to stop um, watering her. And then what will happen is all of these beautiful, long, slender leaves will die back and start turning yellow. And then what you want to do is, if you can see this bulb right here, her leaves had already turned yellow and died back, so I cut it really short. She will continue to dry out. You want to let them dry completely out. The whole plant completely dried. You want to, once you stop watering, stop watering. Don't water her no more. You want her to dry out. You want your soil to dry out in a pot, and then you want her leaves to die back. And I know a lot of people do go ahead and cut them when they're green. I don't. I let um, I let the bulb suck up all of the nutrient, because when you're not giving her water, she is going to find every access to stay alive. So she's going to suck all the nutrients out of these leaves. And then once her leaves turn yellow, you cut it. Right here's the bulb. You want to cut that bulb as short as you can get it. I've seen people cut them even shorter, but I don't. She's like maybe an inch from her bulb. So all of these leaves will be cut off. But usually what I do is I just go around, and you have like this dried sheathing. It's brown, that's around the bulb. I clean it up now. She's been outside, so any leaf debris or whatever that's in your pot, take it out, clean up all that dried sheathing, get it out of your pot. That way you're not having any kind of fungus or bacterial issues. And then that's about it. She's pretty clean. Because I try to keep all my plants clean as I can, as far as dead leaves and stuff like that, because you're going to get bugs if you don't. A little spider on there. So then, after she is all dried up and her leaves are all turned yellow, and you cut them off, if there's any more dry sheathing on them anywhere, clean it up again, and then cut this point, like right here, cut it down, about right here. It's all the further you gotta go. You can see this one. A lot of people cut all the way even deeper than that, but I don't. This will all turn dry, and then you can pick it off later if you want to. But then they need a 3-month rest where they're not getting sunlight, they're not getting water. Okay? And then you'll either see like on this bulb, say this bulb is all dried up and she's been resting for 3 months, so come December or January, you're going to see a little tip point starting to come out of your Amaryllis bulb. And it will kind of look like the tip of your leaf, like that. It'll kind of look like that, coming right up out of this bulb. Now I have 4 in here because I wanted to plant mine all together. I repotted them all early spring and then brought them outside because I want all of my amaryllis to bloom together in one pot, and it makes it easier on me. So once you see that little growing point starting, you know she's waking up on her own, and you can start watering her. You don't want to feed, you just want to water her at that point. And then if you don't see a growing point by, say, January, get her out of her cool, dark area that you have her in. Put her up in a bright light situation like a west or a south window, and water her. Thoroughly water her so she's saturated from top to bottom. And then in about a week, you will see that growing point come up. And then once you see that growing point come up, start watering her regularly. The watering her and putting her into light will wake her up if she's not already woken up by then. I've had it where, you know, a couple of mine will wake up on their own, and, you know, I'll open up my box or I have them in, because I used to store them in a box or in a paper sack, and they'll already be grown. The stem on them will be that grown, and they'll have a big bulb on the end of it. Or, I mean, not a bulb, a bud on the end of it. They're crazy. I love these plants. They're really cool, and they're super easy to take care of. So you've woken her up. You've woken up the beast. She will keep growing a big, thick stem. It'll be about that big around, and it'll get really super tall, and you'll see buds on the end of it. Usually you'll see 2, and then you'll see a couple more, because usually they make about 4, sometimes more. I've seen more. And then your flowers will open up, and it doesn't take long at all. I mean, they stem out and bud up really, really quick, and they open up really quick. So, and then you'll get to enjoy all of your beautiful flowers. And you'll also see, now especially on the older bulbs, like I have a couple in here that are about 3 or 4 years old, you will also start to see leaves growing at the same time. A lot of times you won't see the leaves start to grow until after it's done blooming, or close to done blooming. And the blooms on them can last anywhere from a couple weeks to a month. It just kind of depends on the light you have them in, and how hot or how cool it is in your house where you have them. They actually seem to do better in flower in a little bit cooler area, but I don't worry about it. If I can get a couple weeks of blooms, I'm happy. But once she's done flowering, then, and I'll go into this more, you know, as mine progresses in the winter. But once she's done flowering, you want to cut that flower spike off, and then you can start feeding her when you water, or feed however you do, jug sticks, or however you guys feed, whatever you use to feed. And then you want to continue to feed her all winter, for the rest of the winter, through spring and summer, and then in the fall, early fall, late summer, because like I said, I was late. Usually I do this in August, but time got away from me. But I put mine outside all summer and let them grow these big beautiful leaves. You won't see any more flowers. At least I never have. Not in the summer, not when I'm forcing mine to bloom in the winter, because that's when I like to enjoy mine. But you just want to feed her all winter. And I have been feeding heavy and watering heavy because I do have 4 huge bulbs in here. Whoop. So I made sure I fed and watered her a lot because their root systems are massive. But that's all there is to it, guys. I mean, it's super easy. I know a lot of people plant them outside in the spring. I don't like doing that because I don't want something else that I have to dig up. I like to keep them in a pot. It's easier. But if you're digging them up from outside, or you get a new one and you don't know what to do with it, I mean, you can just set your bulbs after you dig them up. Get you some thick newspaper and lay it down. Lay your bulbs down on that newspaper or cardboard, or whatever. I use newspaper, cardboard, paper sack, it don't matter. You just want them to dry out. At least 2 weeks or a month. Dry them up and then cut your yellow leaves off. Make sure they are completely dry, because sometimes when you cut this top, if you cut this top off after the leaves have died back, you'll see water coming out of it. And you'll know that it's not completely dried yet. You want to make sure it's dry, because if it doesn't dry all the way, they can go rotten. I usually will pull mine out. I keep mine in my plant room, up under one of my plant tables, and it's because it's cooler on the floor for her, and she gets darkness better there, and she's not in complete darkness, so, and I've never had any issues. They've always bloomed for me, no matter, even if they weren't in complete darkness. So, I usually just will pull mine out from under the table and look at her and just kind of feel your bulb and see to make sure it's still firm. If it's not firm and it's starting to rot, you're going to have to either get her out of your storage, or pull her out of the pot, or if you're keeping her in a paper sack or a box, or wrapped in newspaper, however you're doing it, because there's a lot of different ways to do it. I just prefer the pot method because it's easier. And I was also hoping that putting her in this 3-gallon pot was going to help for me not having to repot her every year. I'm hoping I can get away with 2 summers or 3 summers of her being in here, but I don't know. I'll just have to see if her roots grow out of the bottom of the pot. But that's it. I mean, just make sure you're checking once a month. Making sure you're not, if you're getting anything rotten, you'll want to pull that rotten bulb out, and either discard it. And a lot of times, if the bulb isn't completely rotten, I wish I had one out of the soil. I don't really have, I don't have anything to compare it to. But say you've got your bulb, and it's rotten, it feels squishy on the top, okay? You can, if it's only rotten like halfway down your bulb, you can actually cut the top of that bulb off, if it's only the top. If it's the bottom that's rotten, it's not going to work. Just throw it away. Throw it in your compost, or throw it in the trash, and just get rid of it, because you're not going to be able to save it. But if, say, only the top of it, like maybe the top inch or top 2 inches, depending on how big your bulb is, if it's rotten, say, down to here, you can cut that. Slice it, get all that rotten stuff off of it, and let her sit out and dry completely. I've done it before and it works. I mean, it may not work every single time. I might have just got lucky when that happened, but my mom was the one who told me to do that, and it did work. Now, she did not bloom that winter, of course, because she had to bulk back up, but I'm assuming that all these bulbs down in here have more babies, because they all reproduce more bulbs under here, and they'll get little tiny offshoots of bulbs around there. But okay, guys, that's it. Just let your amaryllis dry out good, and then store them. and get them back out and check them in December and see what they're doing. And you can wake them up, or they might be waking up by themselves. So, all right, you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Peace.